Okay, we will start now, Be'ezer Hashem, the shir number 6 in the series of Rambam Kiddush hachodesh. The Rambam finishes off the last halacha, Perik Yud Gimel. Since we can find the sun where it is in any given date, Teida Yoim tekufah haamiti, called tekufah shetirtza. You can also know the real day of the tekufah. Vein tekufah sabayis achazeh ikir zeh shemeni haschalnu, vein tekufah she'avru. Either the ones that are about to come or the ones that are already passed. So we would want to explain this Rambam to understand better what the Rambam means here. The tekufah, we know there's 4 tekufahs. Tekufahs Nisan, that's when the sun enters Taleh. The sun enters the point 0 in the Galgal Mazalas, 0. Then comes tekufahs Tammuz. That's when the sun enters Sartan. That's in, you can say either it reaches to the point of 90 degrees in the Galgal Mazalas. Then we have Tishrei Meznayan. Then we have Gedi, that's the Kufas Tapes. So 270 degrees. These are the 4 tekufas. The definition is when the sun enters the point on the Galgal Mazalas. These numbers respectively 0, 90, 180, 270, that's the 4 points. So the question is, and the Rambam is explaining to us that since we have 2 types of, we can say, where the sun is. Either it's as viewed from the center of the sun's orbit, that's called Shem Shem Tzoi, or as viewed from Earth, as we gave many diagrams to explain this. So we'll give now a diagram to see how we figure out the tekufah haamiti, what that means in this context, where the sun is when the sun reaches 90 or 180 when viewed from Earth. Okay. Take a look at this diagram. We'll go first to the bottom one, then we'll go to the top. So this one we showed. Take a look at, first of all, we would say what everything is. E is the Earth. C is the center of the sun's orbit. K is the nekudas hagoiva. And we made in this diagram that nekudas hagoiva is at 60. The Rambam says in his days it's 80 somewhere. So we're making here the nekudas hagoiva at 60. So, Limtzei tekufas Tishrei, shegoiva Hashemesh Yedua, v'gam angle K E S Yedua. So let's explain what we're doing here. You understand, somebody standing by here, by C, when the sun reaches this point, that's when, I'm sorry, I didn't draw, okay, I'll repeat myself. This point is, both of them, Earth or Sea, both see this line, point K, extended, it reaches to the point of 60 in the Galgal Mazalas. That's called the Nekudas hagoiva. Now, Tekufas Tishrei is 100. It's 180. So it means 120 degrees past this point. Because 120 plus 60 is 180. So it has to be 120. But let's see. This point 120, this angle here, S E K, is 120 degrees. I did it with the protractor. This angle is 120. However, this angle, SCK, is more than 120. 140 maybe, or 130. So, when the sun reaches here, that's when it's tekufah tishra haamiti. It means as viewed from C. But when it reaches here, it's haamiti. So we're interested to know what, when the sun reaches here, that means it's 120 degrees as measured from SEK, that's 120 plus 60. What will be the Makom Hashemesh Haamiti? That's the wording it in mathematical terms. And let's see what are the givens and what we're looking to find. We know EC, we know how much the center of the sun is away from Earth. We know that. We also know arc CS, that is the radius of the sun's hekif. We also know this angle here, angle SEC, is 120, because that's by definition the meaning of tekufah tishrei haamiti. That's 120 plus 60. And that's when, as viewed from Earth, you'll see the sun on Meznayim. The question, what we would like to know is, what's this angle? It means, what's the Shemesh Haamiti? Because that is measured in mean, so we know. But if we know the Shemesh Haamiti, where it is up to, we can find out the day. Because that's measured every 24 hours. The Shemesh Haamiti travels exactly 59 halakim, etc. So this is, once we know this angle, or in other words, the position of Shemesh Haamiti, we can translate that in days. And we can find out exactly the day and the moment and the hour, because we know a starting point of Shemesh Haamiti, and we just count exact numbers, fractions of days, of hours, as Rambam explained in the beginning, to find out where the what day the Shemesh Haamiti. We can either calculate the days to get the Shemesh Haamiti, or vice versa. We know the Shemesh Haamiti, and we work the other way around. From that we know the days. This is easy, just very simple math. So again, I want to repeat. The mathematical thing is what we have here. Every triangle that we know 3 things out of the 6. What are the 3 things we know? We know CS, the radius of the sun's hekif. We know EC, that's the distance. We also know angle SEC, this angle. It's not an inscribed angle, but it's still an angle. We know this angle. You know EC, you know CS. That gives us the whole triangle, so we can find out information about this angle, about angle ECS, this angle here, and then we find in turn the angle that's here, that's 180 minus this. So we know the Makom Hashemesh Haamiti, and then we convert that into days to find out which day of the month and which hour the tekufah haamiti will be. This is the sketch, the skeleton of this Rambam. I'll just show you one more diagram. This one here, the top one, is similar. It's maybe more neat. It's imagining that the Makom HaGoiva is at 90. That was probably, in the Rambam's days, it was at 86. So we know 4 degrees, it takes 70 years for each degree. So it's about 300 years later. That's where the Makom HaGoiva was, at 90. This shows that viewed from Earth, this is when the sun reaches here, that's when it's the tekufas Tishrei. Now, you can see very, very obvious that this is more than, this angle here is more than 90. So this shows very well this concept that the Shemesh HaMtzoi is about 110 or something like that, while the Shemesh HaMiti is only at 90. This is the Shemesh HaMiti. Shemesh HaMiti means SEK plus 90. SEK is 90 plus 90, so it's 180. And here again we do the same type of math. We know EC, we know CS, so we know this is 90. It's easier to find, just a simpler math. Once we find out through simple rules of trigonometry, we find out this angle, we know this angle, and then we know this arc. And that's going to tell us what this is exactly. If it's 110, on the picture it looks somewhere 110, maybe it's 109. And this is the Mokem HaShemesh HaMtzoi, when it's tekufas Tishrei. And obviously it will be later than the Emtzoi. That's Mokem HaMiti. It will take more than a quarter of a year, because the sun has to go this whole arc, has to travel this whole area here. So this is some extra degrees, and this is why in such a type of season, the tekufas Tammuz will be very long. Technically, it means it's a longer summer. Tekufas Tammuz, because from 90 till 180 will take a little bit more than 91 days and 7 hours. That's how much the average tekufah is. So this is basically explaining the Rambam, what he says as we started the shir. This is the words of the Rambam, that once you know Mokem HaShemesh hachodesh tirtzeh tei the yom tekufah haamiti, you can always use that to find out the tekufah haamiti, when the real sun, the Shemesh HaMiti, reaches the point of tekufah. Okay, I think this shir will stop here. And somebody's curious in the astronomical, in the trigonometry, from finding the angles. Maybe later in the shiurim I'll give the formula for it later on. This is it needs a shir for itself, so we'll continue it later.